Okay. Oh, so this is a okay. So this is a it's an
Aha.
interesting
This is
question.
good.
Yeah, and so we want your take on this, Mark and Abby. Oh my gosh,
How
how
do
do
we
we
get
help guide our children to do
to
the
do the
right
right
thing?
thing? Wow.
I'll throw him under the bus this time. He's the educator.
Okay, okay. Nice to know that's still happening.
Yeah, we're normal
I'm kidding.
people.
I'm kidding. Okay. So Mark, your turn first.
How do we help out
How do we help guide our
guys?
children to do the right thing?
Yeah, that's a tough question. um, well, I guess in our experience, we'll just talk from our experience. Really, for Tikoy, he's 3 years old right now, but his concept of really we practice voice and choice in the house, and that can be challenging. That can be challenging because it means that we give him a space, we allow him to decide. For instance, for food, which ones would you like to eat? It's a challenge for us, and I think we don't have like the exact black and white answer to to find that balance. I was just saying to Abby, like, maybe if things will change when he's 4, when he turns 4, maybe we can be more, I don't know, like explore more how he can be like when he's given an option, like, can we give more opportunities for us also to assert ourselves?
Mhm.
Like, you have to eat this or something like that. But right now we kind of like practice first voice and choice with him. So doing the right thing with regards to, and that can be a bit heavy, like on the moral aspect or anything. But I think for his age, our struggle right now, and this is us being very honest, really, is how to let him wear a face mask. And and just last night we had this conversation, and he keeps on telling us that he doesn't want to wear the face mask because it's scary. And so now we go to the levels of whys. And why is it scary? And then he tells us that he just says it's scary, right?
It's scary.
Yeah.
But even if I try to tell him, no, you know what? Yeah, it's scary, but we're here for you. And then he will kind of twist that around, like, no, it's scary because you will not hold my hand and you won't be here for me. So, most of the time, I really don't know what to say.
Yeah, but I guess for us, like last night there was no resolution on the face mask, and we said, okay, we'll just sleep on it, and we can have this conversation another day. But I guess it's very important that we attempt to communicate, because this is really something that has been on the back seat for quite some time now. That a time will come that he really needs to wear a face. Know how what levels of convincing we need to dive into. But I guess for now, the way forward for us is really to just keep on communicating with him and finding like what scares him, why is it difficult for him, and things like that. So I guess habit 5 is a struggle when it comes to kids, especially toddlers. Because sometimes, and I guess most parents would agree on this, that sometimes we just can't help it and we snap, right? And we snap because we just like we don't want to have this conversation anymore. But then
Do it, kid.
Just do it.
Because I said so.
Yeah, because I said so. I mean, it's just easy to say because I said so, but
Yeah.
if we're trying to advocate really communicating with our kids, so I guess that's the last thing that we have. Abby,
Yeah.
would you like to add?
For in guiding them to do the right thing, it's these children in these ages are very observant, so
It's
more
true.
pressure for you to keep your integrity in doing what you said you will. And also I felt that it's also easier for them to grasp when you explain why he shouldn't hit his playmate, for
Mhm.
example, or why he shouldn't throw things on the floor like that. They wouldn't understand dangerous, or they wouldn't understand
Consequence.
consequences, or the words like wasteful, something like that. So we try to also communicate that you should we don't hurt people, because that would be painful for them, and that's not a loving thing to do, something like that. So it takes so much work to explain and
Mhm.
all the more bring it down to their level na maiintindihan nila. But I it feels like it's so much work right now, but later on we hope that it won't give us so much headache when he turns into a
May
teenager.
payoff naman siya.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm what I'm really hearing from that is how values are caught and not taught.
Yeah,
Like how you just shared, it's how you're explaining and how you're modeling the behavior, and so that's also what Tikoy picks up, right? And I see that also as well with my son. My son, of course, doesn't understand language yet, although he's developing a vocabulary, but does everything that he sees us do,
right.
right? So as I think about this question, at least for us or for me, it also boils down into a habit two thing for me. Like, what is the end in mind? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Dr. Covey shares one of the videos we show in one, in our classes. Raise boys, not grass. 'Cause
Yes,
it's
yes.
right? Boys, not grass, and so. So this is actually more for us as parents.
That's true. That is true, yes.
Like getting clear on what is the right thing for us, and we're not here to tell people what is right or what is wrong, but rather that's something you gotta figure out on your own and be clear
Yeah.
with.
In fact, I like what you just said there, Lippy, because earlier I was thinking one of the important points here, just going back to the question of how do you help guide children to do the right thing. I think on the part of the adult, I love how number one, you point the awareness to the reality that this is for us just as much as it is for the kids. For me, I think an important question is it about right? So this thing that I want my child to do, is it because it's right, or is it simply what I want, or is it simply what I'm accustomed to and what I prefer? Because I think very often what we realize is that it's entirely possible that it is neither right or wrong. So Mark pointed to the fact earlier that it could be a moral question, but I think in most cases, it's not necessarily right or wrong. It's probably just not what the parent wants, maybe not what the parent is accustomed to, and yet for us it's no, don't do that. And that's probably where we go to the because I said so. Kasi ang hirap ipaliwanag na kasi ayoko lang, di ba? But earlier, Mark and Abby mentioned the word consequence. And what I wanted to add was one of the things I've learned, and this is not from me. This is something I read somewhere else, and I've seen it in several videos as well, is one of the best ways to teach kids about right, wrong, or consequences is to actually allow them to feel and to see the consequences of something, which can be very hard. Because as an adult, let's say kanina, you mentioned yung messy or magtatapon. From the adult perspective, ayaw natin di ba? Kasi sayang, or who's gonna clean it up? It's probably gonna be us. So we prevent it. But so for us, for example, when our kids throw their food, what we say is, okay, we prefer not to throw the food, but now that it's there, wala na. You don't get any more of it. And so when our child says, I want some more, and we say, sorry, it's on the floor. And that's what happens when you throw something. And it's hard because, di ba, at back of your head, you're thinking, bakit ko pa pababayaan to? Just nip it in the bud. But di ba, what they say is if you're forever, I think one of the most graphic descriptions I read of this is if the parents will forever cover every corner that the child is bound to hit with their head, they will never learn that they have to be careful because laging may sasalo sa kanila eh. But di ba as a parent, manonood ka lang ba until your kid bumps their head? But then you realize that they learn, di ba? They learn that, okay, I'm not supposed to do this. And yeah, I guess it's a balance. Of course, pag medyo life and death, then yes, nip it in the bud. But when the consequences are manageable, then I think let them feel it somehow.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. All right. Okay. So yeah, again, it's a learning experience. So I mean, everything, even us helping guide our children to do the right thing, it's really a learning experience. Not just
Oh,
for
it
us,
is.
but also for
I think for both.
especially,
Diba?
yeah, for both. For both, it's a learning experience.
In fact, sometimes Mark and I have both mentioned that the levels of why, although it is at times it's infuriating. Parang where does the why stop? Parang lahat na lang why. But when the children, for us, we have two kids, when they ask us why, there are times where I actually pause and I ask myself, oo nga naman. Bakit? What is the reason behind it all? Other than it's the way it's always been done. Or yan yung pinakamadali, yan yung gusto ko. At least for me, it's a self-check. It's also there are other ways. Or why exactly did I decide to do it this way? So yeah, it's an education for the adult as well. I think if we're humble enough to admit that.
Yeah.